was a bit of an eye-opener. I just had a little bout with the medical profession, and it was wasn't running like a smooth, well-oiled machine. Like a well-oiled machine. I had an appointment at 3 o'clock for a very short procedure, 5 minutes it takes. And I didn't get in the chair until about 25 past, after they finally established my identity, because for some reason they thought I was someone else. God knows why. I hadn't been trying to pull the wool over their eyes, but you know, they just didn't seem to be very organised at all. They were chockers, and I've never seen the place like that before. Apparently it's to do with the time of year, because of the short weeks and everything. It was really full, and one of the nurses there was honest enough to say things were chaotic, and they certainly were. So yeah, so I finally got out. It's nice to always go. I hate being in those places. Hospitals are not my favourite places, and very glad to be out of there. So I got out about 25 to 4 and just heading down to the bar now. I'll get to read the paper. It's drizzling again. The nurse who actually treated me, she actually has only been here 3 years herself. Fairly typical story. So she hasn't seen a proper wet season either. So I asked her whether she thought things were getting back to normal. She had no idea herself. So she's only encountered the long dry that they've had up here. But that seems to have been broken this year. Every day we seem to have some moisture. We've had 1 or 2 nice days, but overall it's been pretty overcast. At least it isn't windy, I'll give you that. But yeah, it's nothing terrific. It's sort of like a miserable Melbourne day without the cold. It's still balmy, so that makes it bearable. So, yeah, it doesn't instill much confidence when you have people running around like chooks with their heads off, not knowing what's going on. There seemed to be a lot of bods on the police floor, but they didn't seem to be communicating very well with one another, and you see that in a lot of large organisations. So it doesn't instill confidence. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. That's all I've got to report. Another day in paradise in Cairns. Check this out. Bloody pissing down. Absolutely. Thank God I'm under cover. It's like it's pissing down in the hills ahead of me. Okay, I'm going to embark upon another one of my walks. It's really warm. Here's what I'm doing is downstairs in the car park, I'm carrying out what I call the compressor test. And that is to basically see how many people in my part of the complex here are actually using their aircon, because it is getting quite warm this time of year. And oh, there's one on there. There's one on back there, so there's about at least 2 or maybe 3 out of, I don't know, it's about, what would that be, about 9 compressors, so 9 different units presumably. So only about a third of them are using aircon. Now, I don't know how many people are actually here at the moment. There's a few stay-at-homes, but I'm just wondering if it's indicative about the high cost of electricity these days. It's getting higher because you have to pay for the wind power and solar power, which costs a hell of a lot more as part of the overall deal. So it pushes up the prices for everybody, and of course it hits the poorest most. And I'm in Parramatta Park here, and it's mainly a student type accommodation area. So it's not a particularly affluent part of the town. It's close to the city, so it's convenient, but I'd say it's relatively cheap place to live. You know, I was complaining about how wet it was around here about a week or two ago. Of course, ironically, as soon as I do that, we've had a dry spell for the next week or so, and it's been bloody hot. And I never thought I'd say this up here, but this is getting to a very uncomfortable level of heat. And I looked up the charts yesterday to see what I'm installed for, and it's pretty similar to what you're going to get elsewhere in Australia. Back in Melbourne, you know, it's January and February are the hottest months. It's the same here. And I thought the humidity situation might be a little different, because apparently they're supposed to get a lot of rain this time of year. It hasn't been so much in recent times, and it has stopped again. But I find the rain actually can take a bit of the bite out of the heat. But yeah, the sun's got a kick to it, and the air's pretty warm, so it's yeah, walking around is not as easy as it was. So that's a bit of an update on the weather. Not so great. And this is the corridor just ahead of you there. They seem to fly around basically along that corridor. Be surprised if we don't cop one while we're walking now, because they seem to fly in about 10-minute intervals. It's Sunday, maybe a little quieter today, but lately it's been really heavy traffic in the air. And even though I'm not right underneath it, I'm close enough to hear most of the planes going by. So yeah, it's not surprising to read stats where the Cairns airport gets more traffic than Townsville, Darwin and some other airport combined. So that does not surprise me. But yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle wandering around. It is warm. It feels like you're in a bit of an oven all day round at the moment. Only relief is actually when the wet weather comes, gives you a bit of a partial relief. It's good to get out of the place anyway. I don't want to be bloody housebound all the time. It's a pain.